ask what you can do for your country.
So just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now, but it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop.
The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave.
Come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite.
Now, there's one thing you might have noticed I don't complain about. Politicians.
Governments don't live together, people live together. Governments, you don't always get a fair word or a fair fight. Well, I've come here to give you either one, or get either one from you.
That is totally taken out of context.
Well, not really.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up,
T-minus 1 minute.
live out the true meaning of its creed.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
T-minus 50 seconds.
I am paying for this microphone, Mr.
Every dollar released from taxation
T-minus 40 seconds.
that is spent or invested will help create a new job.
Chivalry is dead, and women killed it.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines.
T-minus 20 seconds.
We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing ground and in the streets.
10, 9,
We shall fight
8,
in the hills.
6,
We shall never surrender!
3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to Problem Solver Politics live stream. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, this beautiful 13th day of February, the day before Valentine's Day. Along with Cody the Oracle.
Hey everybody, it is Thursday the 13th. Huh?
Yeah, rock
If it
on.
was only a different day, right? If it was only if it was Wednesday the 13th. How weird would that be?
For those of us who are anti-Catholic and anti-Knights Templar, you can rejoice. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, actually, I don't even know how many people get that old historical joke.
I definitely did not.
Yeah.
It's a movie, dude.
Yeah, no,
What
Friday.
are these dumb night temples? What are you talking about,
Okay,
dude? It's a movie series from the 80s.
Before it was Freddy Krueger, the King of
Hold on,
France.
before it was
did-
who?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Hold on. We're also joined in studio before we give a history lesson on the Knights Templar and the
Wait, no.
significance of Friday the 13th.
Who was it? Friday the 13th? Who was that movie about?
Freddy Krueger, right?
No, all right.
Oh no, Freddy Krueger. No, sorry. Yeah, Friday the 13th. What's the name of the main character?
I don't know. What is the name of the main
Ryder
character?
would know
Friday
this.
the 13th.
Jason.
Jason what?
Jason
Starts with a V.
Veach?
Voorhees.
Voorhees. Okay, dang, I never would have guessed that
You
one.
don't remember that?
I don't remember. My
Dude,
son would though.
They made like 20 of those movies, dude.
I know, and I saw one of them, and it was horrible. The Michael Bay one was like, meh.
Michael Bay didn't make a.
Yeah, Michael Bay directed a recent Friday the
latest
13th.
one?
Yeah, boobs everywhere. Like if you want to go see some
Oh.
TIT,
Michael.
TIEs.
I saw that movie. Michael Bay directed it.
Yeah, that was Michael Bay.
It was really stupid.
Yeah, it was like total like teenage titty film. Total TNA.
That feels so beneath him to direct a Friday the 13th remake.
It was cool. I mean, there were some things about it that were actually a lot cooler than previous versions, but also it was a little bit depraved. But that's okay. We all love depraved. I love depraved Hollywood. Most people don't. I love depraved Hollywood.
Well, no, it was directed by Marcus Nispel.
No, look, Michael Bay directed a Friday the 13th. I'm pretty sure.
Not the 2009 one.
Okay, then maybe I'm on something. But anyway, we are joined in studio with Brittany the Shadow.
Hello.
Holla. Anyway, so we got a lot to talk about. Before we do though, we're gonna finish the history lesson. In a nutshell, the King of France didn't like the power the Knights Templar were gaining, so he organized kind of like a coup against them. And the French army went to all of the places where the Knights Templar were, all of their monasteries, everything like that, and then imprisoned them all and killed a bunch of them on one Friday the 13th. So it was a day that lived in infamy until it was considered suspicious by other people who are superstitious. And now it lives on in our pop culture as a bad omen. But it actually originated with yonder Knights Templar in the, what would that be, Cody? 14th century, right? 15th? Because it was the 1400s.
That'd be 15th century. Yeah, let's say around that period of time. Yeah,
Hey, do you want to know what's so cool about the Knights Templar that escaped too? The Knights Templar had a massive navy that actually rivaled at that point the Spanish Armada. And they said that many of them escaped in their naval vessels, but that navy was never spotted again. And it's believed they actually came to the Americas before Columbus did. And it was because of secret writings of the Knights Templar that Columbus thought that he could make it to the Americas because the Knights Templar had gone, made it, come back, and then reported to him because he had buddies that were friends with the old Knights Templar.
I don't know, dude. That sounds like gibberish to me.
No way, dog. That's just straight up history.
I think somebody was just trying to explain why they called the movies Friday the 13th. And he was like, oh, dude, boats and stuff. There was knights, the French, all kinds of crazy stuff happened. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it if you saw it. Anyway, check out my next picture. Friday the 13th,
fine.
part 7.
Part 7?
They made that many. Anyway, I want to get to a little bit what we're talking about. Obviously, Andrew Yang dropped out, so he has the posthumous, what's the word for it? Now that he's gone, everyone loves him. I don't know how you say that in a smarter fashion. But anyway, we've reached that part of the Andrew Yang campaign where it's like, oh, now that he's no threat to these campaigns, everybody, Michael Bloomberg loves Andrew Yang. They never actually ran against each other, by the way. Apparently Bernie Sanders respect Andrew Yang. However, this was weird that I saw this happen. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth. I guess I'll go through the AOC thing at one point, maybe. The AOC thing was pretty funny. I mean, she was clowning, like many people. They clowned on Yang when he was running. Now that he's not, they don't. But I thought it was particularly with her with UBI. However, this is not what I was expecting. Typically, I'm not going to bring up AOC something bad about UBI once at a Q&A. Like, it's not like the biggest deal. This was weird to me. So People for Bernie, I believe they list themselves as activists and organizers building a broad, effective movement for a democratic change. Welcome to the political revolution. I'm pretty sure it's a PAC. I'll pull up the website to look more into it. But verified Twitter account, obviously for Bernie Sanders' campaign. And they posted this. Now, sorry, I want to get the name right. Obviously, I no offense to Matthew Embray, but it's 826 follower account. This is this isn't like Zach Grumman tweeted this, but someone happened to tweet that said, "Okay, not me, us crowd. What's it going to take to replace Stephanie Kelton with Scott Stanton as Bernie Sanders' economic advisor?" Admittedly, a little bit little aggressive, right? But
yeah.
However, I don't know if it necessarily warranted their replies. It's pretty interesting. So, the People for Bernie account actually replies with Scott Stanton is a grifter. Professor Kelton is highly esteemed progressive economist and professor. Now, the reason why I wanted to highlight this particular tweet is there's a
snap.
there's
We
a
got
lot
to
of
get
stuff-
him on to respond.
Yeah, but like a lot of stuff goes on you see in like Twitter and stuff, and it's like a couple Twitter account users send mean things to each other. I'm not going to dig into it, but what gets weird to me is, I mean, whether they like it or
Hey,
not.
our buddy Dad Isn't Mad responded.
Oh yeah, we'll go down and look at it if you want.
Okay.
But it was just really weird to me to see a verified Bernie surrogate. I'm pretty sure People for Bernie is like the Bernie Sanders like organization the money goes to. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but
yeah,
I'm fairly certain that's what it is. It's not a PAC, but it's
yeah,
what he actually organizes under. To just kind of because Scott Stanton is a fairly one of the more prominent, well-known Yang surrogates that was out there for a long time. So it was really weird. But the reason why I wanted to highlight it is because they're definitely. They can write the fancy articles. They can put the kind of platitude tweets and statements out there. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of animosity between multiple different campaigns and the Yang campaign of supporters. It didn't just go away. So this was really fascinating to see. I thought now would be a time you think they were trying to kind of court the. But yeah, if you're like a Yang supporter, and what if you don't think Scott Stanton is a grifter? Are you going to all of a sudden support Bernie Sanders? Like, it was really weird, and I'm kind of wondering. Like, can they really not put the mask on for like 2 or 3 weeks? Like the mask has to come off, 36 hours after he drops out? It is really interesting to me, and I just wanted to highlight this because this was weird. Like I said, people that, are Bernie supporters, Bernie fans, people that have, with the rose in their name, I'm not going to like, oh my God, they something mean about Yang. It's like, it's just a random person. But like a verified Bernie surrogate account, like a mouthpiece for Bernie on the platform, was really weird to see this.
Doesn't surprise me. What did Scott Stanton say on our interview? There's some people that just want the revolution. And then from that, we got one of the best comments.
Hold on. He did say that directly in reference to Bernie Sanders supporters. So there might be, I'm fully willing to admit, there might be some additional history between Scott Stanton and some of the Bernie Sanders supporters in the background. I don't know.
Because he said UBI is better than the federal jobs guarantee, which is empirically true.
They might,
and that's why they chose the quote, highly esteemed progressive economist and professor. You become highly esteemed in progressive circles as a professor, not by speaking truth, but by speaking dogma. See, that's the difference. The grift is actually amongst the progressive economists and professors, because you can be like Robert Reich and like be a total beloved professor of economics that just plain old speaks untruths that are verifiably uneconomically correct. Like Robert Reich could literally go out and could say supply and demand is an outdated mode of thinking that is really not relevant to modern society. Everything needs to be nationalized. And he would be heralded as the most, progressive professor on earth, but it's just scientifically inaccurate. And we have measurable quantifiers that show the law of supply and demand became the law of supply and demand through empirical study and the scientific method, which until the law of supply and demand gets proven incorrectly, it will remain a law that you can't undo because it's outmoded and not cool. And the people up here yelling about the millionaires and billionaires don't want to hear it. It just doesn't work that way. That's not the way science works.
It's funny. You literally get triggered by the word progressive. Anyway, I wanted to correct myself.
No, I wouldn't
a
say
little
triggered,
bit.
but I do seek a safe space.
Okay, but I wanted to correct myself a bit. The organization People for Bernie actually appears to be an independent organization, mostly based around various. I mean, I guess if you wanted to say the mouthpiece of the quote unquote Bernie Bros, by that I mean online activist Bernie supporters, seems to be this group. So I want to make sure I get that out there. As far as I know, as far as they say, not directly affiliated with the campaign financially or anything like that. However, definitely the voice of the Bernie Sanders fans, activists, and supporter base. That much is for sure. So again, really weird to see them wade into this conversation with a prominent Yang surrogate. Like I said, maybe for whatever reason there's bad blood between these two people I don't know about for some reason. They just hate Scott Sanders for some reason. But it really stuck out as odd. Because, I mean, like I said, there is things I can pull up of various interactions and stuff. But This was not what I was expecting. This seems like the people that are trying to court the Yang Gang to win elections, but it's not a good sign of. And again, what worries me, it's not a good sign of things to come when, like I said, they couldn't keep the mask up for a week or two. Like it was like immediately like, oh my God, we can't stand you people. There is ideological divides, not for all supporters from Yang to Bernie,
or maybe just one side
enough.
Doesn't have respect.
No, but I would just say there's people that are UBI fans of Yang or supporters of Yang that like the UBI that are just gonna be like, yeah, but you know what? Even though I talked mad ass about the federal jobs guarantee and 50 minimum wage, I'm just gonna get over it. Like for some people, they're like, I kind of like both. Some people aren't like, I kind of like both. Some people really have one in mind. And I think, yeah, man, that's hard to get over. Again, I just didn't think to see it happen so soon. It does worry me I was tweeting about it a little bit earlier. I had been not digging, but just kind of going back to remember what happened in the 2016 Nevada caucus to get ready for the 2020 Nevada caucus. Dude, it was a mess and it was a disaster and there was less numbers to process. I mean, I think I tweeted out that I didn't tweet it out, but the story about it is, like it summed up to Bernie Sanders supporters throwing chairs, Hillary Sanders supporters demanding they be arrested. And like I said, that was before they added additional numbers to be tallied. So, go figure. But if it's already like they couldn't pretend to like Andrew Yang long enough to get his supporters to like him for a day or two, what is going to happen as this continues and we keep seeing where do you go from calling Pete Buttigieg like a demonic cheating rat person? Where do you go from that? Like, what's the next level, right? And I don't know.
I wouldn't call him a rat person. I'd say more of a chipmunk person. Rats do have predominant incisors, okay, but their faces aren't broad and flat. And they're definitely not round. They're more kind of cylindrical. So I'd say much better to say like ground squirrel Pete Buttigieg.
Oh, boy.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, we have a super chat.
Oh, hit it.
From Gilly Squeeze. He says, democracy helps us against kings. Freedom dividend helps us against billionaires. Moving forward, podcast, when are you guys jumping back on that?
We don't have like any schedule time, but that'd be a lot of fun with Corey and I'm blanking the other guy's name. I apologize, but I've actually ran into Corey a couple times, just like at the Donald Glover thing. So we'd love to do it again. I think we've both just been kind of doing our own things, but yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, I'm totally down. That was fun. That was one of our first collabs right there.
Yeah, no, it was
the Moving Forward podcast.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, we'd definitely be willing to do it again, but it's just been a while.
So this is why I think Bernie for the People doing this was a really strategically bad choice too, because let's not forget, and this really makes me think that the Bernie camp just does not understand collaboration. Collaboration is a very capitalist thing, okay? So if you're a capitalist, you learn to collaborate and tolerate other people's opinions and views a lot faster than if you're kind of with a socialist bent. And here's the reason why that was a bad choice for them. Because we did our internal poll. I sent you a link to our internal poll to the results. Over 6.5, almost 7,000 people responded. And we said, what will you do with your Yang Gang energy now? Option 1 was quick politics. I registered for Andrew, which 50% of our audience said they would do. Okay. But there's another 50%. Okay. There's another 10 of that 20,000. All right. The second 5% said they'll vote blue no matter whoever the DNC nominee is. Another 16% said vote Trump 2020, which is pretty common with our 15% libertarian straw poll.
It's funny. They say between 10 to 15% of Bernie Sanders supporters in 2016 supported Donald Trump. So that's about right. I think like when you have anything vaguely populist, maybe one between like what 2/15 or whatever people would be like.
But that put him over.
Yeah.
That put him over.
Or
and so
seconds. I don't know.
Fourth answer was vote second choice, right? Who in the description. So 7% of our audience said vote second choice. And guess what? 23% of our audience said they would vote for Bernie Sanders.
The other populist, yeah.
So of, 6.8 thousand people, a quarter of them, okay, 2,000 or 3,000 of these people said, hey, probably vote for Bernie Sanders is what I'll do with my Yang Gang energy now. How are they going to feel when Scott Santens, the guy they were referencing for the vast majority of their data, who showed very provable, measurable quantifiers and very good scientific analysis, especially during the Yang the Yang media blackout. How do you think these people are going to feel when basically you're going after their guy? Like, that's stupid. You're not courting these people. You're now telling them that they're dumb and they're stupid. Oh, by the way, now you have to come vote with us. And it's like when Bernie Sanders was up there and said, do you want to see Republicans come over to our side and unify with us? Tell them they're going to get a $15 minimum wage. No, that actually really turns off most Republicans, thinking that you're going to toy with the minimum wage to cure income inequality. No, that's just going to make us all poor. Instead of having the rich and the poor, we're just going to have all of the poor and then the government and the government's friends.
We know it's funny looking at those numbers, though, again. I didn't really look at it that way the first time, but as we were kind of talking about it, I noticed something. And I think it's really funny, and it actually shows another reason why I think it's really a bad idea for there to be this division, specifically between, I think, Bernie, Trump, and Yang, those types. Because, dude, look at this. 50% said basically I support Yang and no one else. But what, 49% of people or 39% of people basically said they'd support the other big-name populist candidates. That's what I see. You can see how weird Trump and Bernie, not really, they have different ideas for the same things. Like, they're talking about the same basic stuff, just different ideas.
They're both talking the same problems, just different solutions.
Exactly. So it makes sense. Yeah, that's basically, I would imagine you probably would have a lot of people that are Andrew Yang fans looking at the other people that work that way, which is very interesting. Again, another reason why you would think that they would be more welcoming. But also you have to keep in mind, as I brought up, like the 2016 caucuses in New York and Nevada were really bad because Bernie Sanders did have a primary literally stolen from him. Like, people lost their jobs and were charged because of what they did in 2016. People were in court explaining to a judge why they did what they did because of what happened then. Like, there was no small thing. So I get that much of it, but yeah, it is a little bit, it's a bad omen, I guess you could say, for what could be coming as we move forward and forward. And you know what's funny? I guess we got to give credit. The Team Bloomberg supporters, I just saw, called out the people for Bernie because it is, like I said, just the fact that a big-time Bernie Sanders grassroots supporter account is basically accused a major Andrew Yang surrogate of being a grifter. It is just weird and bizarre. And even Team Bloomberg supporters, not sure how big this account is, 315 followers, not that big, but still. Point being, you're noticing people are talking about, like, that is weird that it happened. And again, it shows very little, I don't want to say restraint, but like, yeah, there's still clearly animosity that didn't go away. It's like, it's kind of, it's like whenever anything happens to briefly bring people together, it's like that animosity comes back real quick where they're like, okay, I'm done with this. Enough of that. Especially because they don't have the article pulled up, but just today even, Bernie Sanders finally came out and said, hey, look, there's people that, need to, like basically the Bernie bros, not the Bernie bros, my supporters online should tone it down and not harass people, which I don't think Bernie said recently. I think in the past he had, but recently he hadn't. So he definitely realized alienating potential voters online isn't a good idea. So at least that's happening.
Okay, we have another super chat.
Hit it.
From Trong Ho.
Ooh.
Sorry, probably just butchered your name. He said, used to be a Bernie supporter, used to be hardcore Democrat. With Yang gone, I'm writing Yang in for primaries and Trump in November.
Dude, there's a lot of people that say, man, you got to go back and watch our live stream.
But like it's a populist candidate.
Yeah, I mean, my mind was blown. I always knew that the Yang gang was super diverse, okay? But I had no idea how willing people were, especially in our chat. If you can go back and watch the chat, there was a time about halfway through our chat, we figured out that Andrew Yang was dropping out because of the NPR article that had come out and the Politico article that had dropped. We started ours at around 4:30, and I think we announced that at 5:30 once we verified that it was true. And if you can go look about an hour into our chat, maybe an hour and 30 minutes, I said, okay, guys, well, knowing what you know now that Andrew Yang is dropping out, like, what are you guys going to do? So many. There was one or two people that said Bernie, but there was hundreds.
That is such an overreaction.
No, it's not an overreaction. I was going through the chat like
it's crazy. I was there too.
Yeah, but I was the one watching the chat, dog.
Oh, sorry. No, I was born 1 minute earlier than you, so I'm the older twin. Dude, what are you talking about? We were both there. It's not what happened.
Okay, so anyway, I'm getting some.
How about this? How about this? While you look at the chat, this is what I'm talking about as far as how quickly the mask has slipped. This was the day I think Yang dropped out. The same People for Bernie account tweeted out solidarity forever. I'm not trying to pick on this particular account. I'm just trying to show you how That was how quick it went from, okay, Yang dropped out.
Yeah.
I think Yang's the only person of any actual significance who had dropped out. Bennett, I guess, maybe as well. So maybe we have to start getting together, guys. Remember, Blue no Matter Who, 48 hours later. Oh, my God, Scott Stanton's a hack. Get out of here, you guys. And again, pretty unprovoked.
Yeah.
Just a random person on Twitter said something, and they just came out and replied with that. I was fairly unprovoked. It wasn't like Scott Stanton was railing on himself, as far as I know. So I just think it is funny how you see it. And then I don't want to turn this into a stream of us just railing on Bernie, but this is an emerging story, and I wanted to also highlight. Do I have this article pulled up? Here we go. This was the article from The Hill, talking about how Sanders calls online harassment unacceptable after allegations from the Culinary Union. And man, is that a story. I wish we had more time. I would go more into the whole story with the Culinary Union and the Bernie Sanders campaign and the endorsement and the non-endorsement. And it is a doozy, but...
Hey, we got 2 super chats. Hit it, Bird.
First one is from Gilly Squeeze. He says, Bloomberg is great. P.S. Didn't get paid off.
Yeah.
Well, not yet, man. You got to say it first. Now you get paid.
Yeah. So, hey, look, if Bloomberg's team's watching, for a solid 7 figures, I could probably be purchased.
Oh.
Just so you know. I'm just establishing that out up in front. No, I'm just kidding.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay, the next super chat is from Ron Henderson. He says, what did you think of Bloomberg's Yang commercial? That guy is something else.
I saw you know what? When you have all the money you could possibly spend, you could do that. Just have a commercial cut for one of your opponents who dropped out to try to win over his supporters. I'm surprised.
I didn't see that one yet. Is it any good?
You can look at it. I'll pull it up. Dude, he posted it like as soon as Andrew dropped out. It was hilarious. It was like hours later on the Bloomberg Twitter account, this like video of Andrew. It was just... He's got $1 billion. He's got billions. Like, he has $1 billion to spend on an election. He isn't worth $1 billion. He's worth tons of billions. He has $1 billion just to spend on an election, which, hey, I guess you could do crazy stuff with it. But I just wanted to go through this article because it is interesting. Bernie Sanders now being kind of forced to recognize this stuff, and it's good though. It's good he does. I think that definitely is something that needs to be addressed by the candidate at some point. He says, harassment of all forms is unacceptable to me, and we urge supporters of all campaigns not to engage in bullying or ugly personal attacks. Sorry, hadn't read the whole quote. That's crap. Oh, so all campaign supporters. We'll tell you what, dude. You're not in charge of every campaign supporters. You're in charge of yours. Always start there. That is kind of a crap way to phrase it. Well, it's always the worst. It's like whenever a politician gets caught and he's like, well, I think all of us can take a look in the mirror and say there's things we're not proud of. Dude, today it's you we're talking about, not all of us.
Yeah, take some personal responsibility.
Yeah, you can control what you do. Bernie can control, but he has to say over whether or not he approves of what his supporters do or not. Talking about if he approves the behavior of Elizabeth Warren supporters or Pete Buttigieg supporters, that's a little, get out of here.
So, we got another super chat.
Okay. From Ryan King, he says, the request to vote blue no matter who will not have enough appeal to independent thinking voters, and Bernie camp is realizing that. So it's back to the usual divisive tactics.
That's an interesting way of looking at it, as like it's well, I will agree that I don't think vote blue no matter who necessarily is a mentality that must fail. I would just say the people behind it right now do seem super disingenuous. Like it's always like vote blue no matter who the day.
As long as we're still in the race and it's not us dropping out.
When the poll comes out that shows your candidate in first, it's vote blue no matter who. When the polls come out showing him in third, oh, this is crazy. Biden's the worst. It's like or the inverse, right? The Biden fans vote blue no matter who. Biden's in third. Oh my God, no, these people are awful. You can't do that. So it's just, if there was any like legitimacy to that concept, I would agree that that's actually not like the worst thing ever to say, hey, if we support the party and the party has a shared vision, then realistically we should be able to support whoever it is that takes that mantle. The only problem is that's not the reality of the Democratic Party. Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Bernie Sanders, Andrew Yang don't stand for the same things.
Yeah.
So it's weird to ask a Amy Klobuchar voter to just vote for Bernie Sanders because they're both Democrats, even though Bernie Sanders proudly calls himself the longest serving independent in Congress. That's the Democrat. You got to get in line behind it. I do think in general, and again, I hate that it's turning into like a clown on Bernie, but he's currently the front runner, and currently one of the big issues in the primary is what is going to happen with solidarity. But like I said, if you fundamentally, AOC, Bernie surrogate, said that Joe Biden and her aren't in the same party in any other country but this one. Like there is no solidarity to fall back on. So I guess, that's a good point.
Hey, well, my
of
comment,
a full errand anyway.
My comment dovetails with the next 2 super chats. So could you just Bust him out, Bird.
Okay, first one's from Jay Watt. He says, I'm thinking of applying for Bloomberg's campaign just for the money. Don't judge, got bills.
Hey, dude, $6,000 a month, no lie, man.
Hey, it depends on the job, bro. It depends on the job. You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
give you $6,000 a month to like literally just like canvas, like foot canvas.
Get that money, bro.
Done.
Get that money.
Done.
Hey, you know what else too? Speaking of, it's
What?
starting to get to like spring, especially Super Tuesday states like California and stuff. You're not even like schlepping out there in the 4-degree in Iowa or New Hampshire. You're gonna be out there in California in spring. It'll be nice.
Look,
Look at
and
$6,000 a month.
And I'll tell you this right now. At the end of the day, you
Don't
can't
actually do that though, because Michael Bloomberg's awful. But
yeah, but also even if you did, probably no judgments because people sense a lack of enthusiasm. I worked for the
support who
census.
you want, you know?
I worked for the census when I was in New York, bro. And you can't buy an enthusiastic governmental employee. And Bloomberg's got so much money. These droves of people he's hiring are no way ideologically motivated. They're financially motivated. And that's never a strong enough motivation to really make a huge movement. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see his canvassers as being wildly successful unless he literally has like a Magic the Gathering white weenie deck. You know what I'm saying? And just swarms these people with just some kind of overwhelming force. So anyway, second super chat.
From T. Bernie is my second choice, but my enthusiasm for him is a steep drop off after Yang. P.S. Love you guys.
Awesome. So T, I got a question for you. That's great. First off, that's awesome. The Bernie's your boy. I do have a question though. We've noticed like when we went to the First in the West Nevada Democratic Party event, and also some of the other Democratic, like the Asian American and Pacific Islander Democrats Association and everything, that there definitely is a culture that exists in all these camps. Whether they're goofy or not, the people are super enthusiastic, kind of in that Midwestern Christian youth camp kind of way. You know what I'm saying? We never really met any Tom Steyer supporters, actually. But
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met people that were paid by him, like videographers and stuff like that. But I never met an actual legit.
There's honestly, he had probably the third or fourth largest group. I'm not kidding you.
At the First in the West, right? Yeah, I was thinking about the AAPI event first. But anyway, so
I wish we hung around longer to speak with Tom Steyer and what I think about it.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, dude, forget this guy. He's got nothing. But after
Yeah.
seeing him speak a few times, I'm like, you know what? Like,
Yeah.
it was a real eye opener seeing Delaney speak and then seeing Steyer speak within like 20 minutes of each other. I'm like, yeah, there's a reason why John Delaney's a optimist for continuing to run as long as he has. And there's a reason why Tom Steyer actually should be doing this.
So here's my question for you, T. We would overhear all kinds of different intra-party politics from the different camps. And oftentimes I'd hear somebody who was in the Pete Buttigieg camp meet an Elizabeth Warren person and say, oh, you're the Elizabeth Warren camp? Oh, that's cool. Hey, look, if you guys don't have any success, you should consider joining us because, she's big on X, Y, or Z rights too. Or else we'd say, oh, you know what? Oh, the Cory Booker people all the time were trying to the Kamala Harris people all the time were trying to record Cory Booker people saying, hey, look, obviously you want to support a person of color, so why don't you guys come over with us? You know what I'm saying? There was almost like miniature caucusing. These little camps would talk to each other and you would see different conversations build up. I've never seen a pitch from a Bernie Sanders person of why you should join the Bernie Sanders camp when you've been a follower of somebody else. So I'm curious, T, in your speakings with the Bernie bros and the burners and so on and so forth, what their pitch is. Because Bernie Sanders' pitch himself when he said, you want to see Republicans join our coalition, tell them they're going to get a $15 minimum wage. That falls. What's the big pitch for Bernie?
It's healthcare. He tells you
Medicare for all. Come on.
That's literally it.
Every candidate on stage has a version of Medicare for all.
With if that's good or bad. That's literally what they say. And it's not like saying it's bad either. It's just that is the big selling point. But
man, Semper Malice.
I got a bigger question for you. I got a big question for you. Michael Bloomberg published an ad where I believe he's speaking in Spanish. So I want to play it. I haven't seen it yet, and I want you to tell me how Mike's Spanish is in this ad, okay?
Okay, cool.
Because we actually do have someone who speaks Spanish in this chat, which is not in this chat.
En una carta donde se refiere a la región amazónica.
I want to hear Mike. I want to hear Meatball Mike. So I like Meatball. Anyway, ready?
Along with so many around the globe,
I was inspired by
Oh, he
Pope
doesn't actually
Francis's
speak
call
Spanish?
today for
Oh my
these
God.
indigenous people.
I'm a moron.
I stand with.
Sorry about that. For some reason, because I saw the subtitles in Spanish and the tweet in Spanish, I thought maybe he would try to flub through the Spanish, but he doesn't. So I apologize, guys. That's my fault.
Okay. Well, here, I'll do it for you, bro. En una carta donde se refiere a la región amazónica, el Papa Francisco hoy reiteró su compromiso con el enfrentar al cambio climático. Apoyo a su santidad en su liderazgo, en su liderazgo, which means their leadership, y en este compromiso ante esta crisis global.
So would you
which literally means in a letter that referred to the Amazon, the Pope Francisco today reiterated his compromiso, which means like his commitment to confronting global climate change, support his sanctity and his sainthood and his leadership in this commitment before this global crisis.
You know what's funny? The Google Translate puts
see.
it as support to his holiness, which I'm not saying they're right and you're wrong. Just the Google Translate's always
Oh,
goofy.
you're right. That just came up right there. I didn't even read it.
Oh,
wow.
I just pulled up a second ago.
So how'd I do, bro?
Pretty good, I think. Actually, almost word for word up until that bottom part. I think there's going to be a translation difference. But
All right,
what's
rock
funny to
on.
me is I don't want to freak out talk about Bloomberg all day every day, but
Yeah.
dude, like Michael Bloomberg is now like invoking like the
He's
holiness of
invoking
the
the
Pope for climate change. Like, dude, there's no stop. Michael Bloomberg is not pulling out whether he's sending weird stuff to Instagram meme pages or having people write up translate kind of like transcribe his advertisements into Spanish so we can hold on. Also, isn't there something a little shameless about having a Spanish translation of being like, oh, listen to the Pope, what he says, because he's Catholic? Like, isn't that a little weird?
Yeah.
Like, making sure that's the one you have in Spanish where you're talking about the Pope and what he has to say? I don't know. I just, that is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the Yang ad, so I pulled that up.
Okay,
I
we
just
have
saw
a
that
few
and started laughing.
super chats
Yeah,
to
let's
get
hit the
through.
super chats.
Okay, first, Tyler Robinson. He says, I'm sick of the parties. I want a viable third party. Amen.
Oh, dude, that's true.
Next one, Giggity Goo 52.
Giggity Goo.
Whip out the Bloomberg ad on Yang. Giggity giggity.
Trying to find it, man.
Dude, I'm loving this giggity guy, man. He's committed to the shtick. I love it.
Okay. Next one's from Nell Neves. I switched from
Nieves. It means
Oh,
multiple
Nieves.
snows.
Sorry, I'm totally white
Multiple
girl.
snows.
I switched from Republican to Democrat to vote for Yang in the primaries, and I intend to do just that. Yang Gang should do this to show the other candidates they must think harder to earn our support. PSP rocks.
Rock on.
I agree with the. I mean, I don't want to say I think that writing in Yang will. Who knows what it'll do for the campaign. However, I do agree it's a good idea to show up and start writing Yang. I was just reading. I'll see if I can pull the thread up. People do look through the write-ins, and they do see how many people got what votes for write-ins, and they do keep in mind of this. So if you were going to vote for Yang anyway, and you literally have no one else you want to vote for, just showing up to vote Yang
Well,
anyway.
because
and
I've
write-in.
even toyed with that. Because here in California, we know that our vote doesn't matter. And even though, I mean, I would totally vote for Donald Trump over Elizabeth Warren, I've toyed myself with the idea of, should I just write in Andrew Yang? Because at the end of the day, my vote for Trump won't help him. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
But it wouldn't send a message to the Democrat Party that they need to improve anything. But maybe writing in Yang, if enough people did that if he gains enough of a percentage, I might actually have a more positive influence on California politics as a California voter if I wrote in Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
So I've actually been strategically kind of figuring out what should I do? And that's also why a lot of people, when they said, oh, you know, are you going to vote for Andrew Yang? I never answered the question. And I always said, yeah, let's see if the DNC doesn't screw him first. And let's see if we can give him the nomination first. What am I looking at?
This was the ad that Michael Bloomberg posted about Andrew Yang. Like I said, he posted this February 12th, 9:19 a.m. So like, sorry, hours later, like the morning after Yang dropped out. But here we go. Let's play this ad.
Now, my first move was not to run for president of the United States because I am not insane. The American dream that my parents came here to find is dying before our eyes. We need to get the money out of D.C. and into your hands, the hands of the American people.
Most Americans feel like the political parties have been playing you lose, I lose, you lose, I lose for years. And you know who's been losing this entire time? We have.
Chant my name! Chant my name!
We were there,
so
bro.
Excited, I want to give every American $1,000 a month.
I'm really glad that you all are going to determine the future of our country.
I remember that one.
I'm a parent and a patriot, and I have seen the future that we're leaving for our kids, and it is not something I'm willing to accept. I am proof that our democracy still works. It is not left, it is not right, it is forward.
Okay.
Dude, man.
Hold on.
You got to give props to...
That should be illegal. You should not be allowed to do that.
What do you mean? Dude, I'll tell you this right now.
I didn't
Strategically,
know, hold on.
that's 10 times better than what the Bernie bros have been doing.
If I didn't know any better, I would think Andrew Yang might endorse Michael Bloomberg or something. What was that?
Oh, that's gamesmanship, bro.
It
If
should
you're not
be-
cheating, you're not trying. And that's not even
It
cheating.
should
That's
be
legal.
illegal to just run a highlight
No.
reel on a phone and be like, oh, we love the... I don't like it.
How many times do we put a hot model next to something which insinuates that hot people like this product? It like you're literally arguing against the idea that sex sells through association.
Hold on.
That is marketing
Let's
through
walk that back.
association.
Let's walk that back. That is literally what I was arguing. Was it not? No, I'm just saying. I think it's a little shameless to just find a bunch of good things Andrew Yang said, run them, and then say, by the way, text Mike to 80510. Like, what is that?
But that is shameless, and that's what I love about
Is Andrew
Bloomberg.
Yang endorsing Michael Bloomberg? You're supporting this? Who cares? You could just take a minute and 40 seconds of someone else doing things, run it, and say text Mike at the end, and you're allowed to do that. I honestly think it's
But
kind of
isn't
crap
that
he
the
did it.
glory? Isn't that ultimately the glory of the Michael Bloomberg candidacy? It is so shameless, so open, that now instead of hiding the fact that billionaires can buy these parties, one is just walking in and doing it. Like, it's like when Al Capone got busted for, was accused of having killed a corrupt cop in Chicago. And he came out in front of the cameras and he literally said, why would I kill a corrupt cop if he was working for me, doing my bidding, and was on my payroll?
Because maybe he wasn't.
And he admitted to the grift online, and then on camera, and then not on camera, but in front of all the newspaper people and other police, and then walks off completely unscathed. That is the ultimate flex. The shamelessness of that was the flex of Al Capone. So if Bloomberg's going Al Capone on the DNC, he should be shameless. He should say, look, you know what? The Bernie people are just going to make fun of you. Don't go with them. If you share these values, you might as well come with me. And it's kind of like when you kill one mafia boss, then you go to all his henchmen and you say, look, I'm sorry. It's a tragedy what happened to your boss.
You ever
but
seen them?
Your boss shows your values with me. You want to come work for me? I'll come pay you better.
Okay. You ever seen that movie?
You know?
Ever seen the movie Billy Madison?
Yes, a long time ago.
Remember at the end when he answers the question and the guy's like, I've never heard such a long, incoherent rambling that amounted to essentially nothing before in my life, and we're all stupider for having heard it.
Thanks,
Dude, what
Doug.
are you talking about? I have no idea the point
Does
you're
the
trying to
chat know what I'm talking
make.
about?
I have no idea what point you're trying to make. That like it's good that Bloomberg's like Al Capone because he told people he killed cops. Like, dude, what are you talking? I don't get it.
Okay, anyway, I'm going to bring civility back to this conversation here. We have some super chats to get through. From
Super chat.
Semper Malice, he says, Trump should retire, then Dan Crenshaw takes over.
Oh, my man, Semper Malice.
Cardin loves Dan Crenshaw.
Oh, Dan Crenshaw's my boy. Real American hero. He just needs a mustache. That's the only way he could be more masculine. No, I'm just kidding. You're right. He would look horrible with
Maybe
a mustache.
an earring.
Wait, you're not a Dan Crenshaw boy? He's not your boy?
No, I don't really care about some random, what is he, congressman?
Oh, random
Just
congressman.
a congressman.
Happy for
Cody.
him. Happy for him.
Texas 2nd District.
Hey, tell you what,
Ooh.
hope him and his family are very happy. Don't care anything about this individual.
Well, let me tell you,
Oh,
no,
he's from Texas.
he's an
Now-
emotionally
now I care.
intelligent-
Cody,
He's from Texas. I don't care.
No, he doesn't talk like that. He's an emotionally intelligent man of honor.
BA.
That's totally BA.
God,
all right?
spare me.
Dude,
He
the
has
next
an eye
Ronald Reagan.
patch, Cody.
Spare me.
Dan Crenshaw is the next Ronald Reagan.
And like I said, dude, very happy for him. Glad he served. I think it's really cool that he's in, Congress or whatever. He's from Texas or whatever. I think it's a cool state. Whatever.
Oh, you got to start following him. You'll have a man crush on him in like 3 seconds.
I know who
dude.
this person is.
I have a political man crush
Do you know
on
how many
Dan
Congress
Crenshaw.
people there are? How many senators there are? Whatever, man. Like I said, very happy for all of them. Wish them well. I don't know.
Okay, we got to move on because Cody's getting in a bad mood.
Okay.
Next one from...
Sorry I called out your boy, I
Gapo.
guess. Apparently you guys are fanboying over some... Where is he from again? Texas? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
2nd District, to be
Scapo. Shh. He says, I've had close friends die to a lack of access to health care. I'll take M4A any day over our current system. Sanders surrogates are making this hard.
Okay. So first off, my response to that, I want to make sure I go line by line with this because Oh, geez, wait, we got more super chats we got to go to.
Yeah, we have a lot to get through.
I will say this. I completely see why a good-hearted person would absolutely think that. Because the promise and the soundbite is that everybody's going to get good health care. But that's operating under the bad and unprovable premise that the quality will remain the same that it is. And the reality of this is we have done multiple tests of what specifically Medicare for All would do, and it would drive down all, like I'm taking a leukemia med that was developed within the past 10 years. It's probably one of the 23 drugs per year that would not get approved underneath a Medicare for All program. And anybody that has lived in a socialized medicine program understands that it doesn't give good healthcare to everybody. It gives really crappy healthcare to everybody. Okay. And what I think you're saying is that you believe healthcare is a human right. And I believe healthcare is a human right as well. Good, accessible healthcare. And what's going to get us there is free market capitalism, which we don't have right now. We have crony capitalism. Okay. And making it affordable. What you really, really want when you say Medicare for All, I think, is you want an affordable, because don't forget, with Medicare for All, there's still going to be copays. It's not going to be free. Okay. But in your mind, you've been sold on the idea that it will be affordable and accessible to all U.S. citizens. And guess what? If you want an affordable and accessible program to all U.S. citizens, I 100% agree with you. I just disagree that Medicare for All is the answer. And I really think that actually getting less government intervention involved, okay, and smarter government intervention when it does intervene involved is the way moving forward. So you're a good man for wanting Medicare for All. I disagree that Medicare for All, as prescribed by Bernie Sanders, is going to help any of your friends, but you're a noble person, and I'm glad you're in the PSP army, baby. So anyway, keep going.
Okay, next one is from Andy Meows. He says, I voted blue for president 4 times. I despise Trump, but consider pulling a Thanos, thinking that we need to suffer for 4 years and give Yang 2024 a window.
What do you think, Cody?
I mean, also remember, honestly, if Democrats come out and just vote down ballot and they at least hold the House, or maybe there's not much the president can realistically do. Isn't that about Obama, his last term? In the midterm, he lost the House and Senate. He just couldn't do anything really.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Like, he couldn't even appoint.
He got shellacked.
He couldn't even appoint judges. Like, so, like, yeah, like, honestly, I think there's this notion that from people that it's like, well, if we can't have the president of our choosing, I guess police state it is. Like, there's still other people on the ballot. Plus, I don't think Trump's the police state either. So I think, I don't know. Generally speaking, from what I've seen, incumbent presidents in their second term, they just kind of like pardon people and they try to pass a few things, but there's pushback. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Obama was able to get Obamacare done for the most part in 8 years because there's another half. It's kind of like in sports when they're talking about like, oh, this guy, he was missing shots. It's like, dude, there's another guy in the court guarding him. He's not playing in a gym by himself. I think it's the same thing, right? It's not like the rest of the government goes away. There's still other people in the government. So
I don't like these strategic ideas that you're giving Democrats. I say actually don't vote down ballot or for president. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, just run around with your hair on fire. Hair on fire panic. 100% panic mode. Skies falling every day is the way to go instead of just trying to vote for senators and congresspeople. I don't know. To me, it sounds easier, but I don't know. It could be crazy.
Okay, we got to catch up on super chat.
Okay, next super chat from T again. He says, Bernie supporters' main way to try to appeal is M4A and free college and being rude. Not super exciting.
No. T. That is hilarious, man. I like this T guy. He's thebomb.com. Or girl. I don't know. T is kind of, that's like a unisex username, right? So T, tell us, you boy or girl, man, so we can address you appropriately. You know what I'm saying? Is it Mr. T? Like, what are you doing, man? Where you going? Or is it Ms. T? Like, I don't know. There's no celebrity named Ms. T. Yeah. But anyway, keep going.
Okay, next one from Nell. What'd you say? Nieves?
Nieves. El nieve means the snow. So, yeah.
Okay. If Yang gets written in and gains enough votes from the people, might he be able to reactivate Yang 2020?
No, probably. I mean, like, very, very, like, no, probably not.
No, it's one of those things where it's possible, but extremely improbable.
He's technically suspended his campaign, right? So, like, technically, but it's just, I mean, like... It's kind of one of those things. Maybe it could be like Family Guy. Remember Family Guy got canceled, then syndication, it kind of reemerged. They brought it back and it ran for another 15 seasons after that.
Yeah.
But I would say it would make more sense he'd come back in 2024 than it is he'd come back in March, right?
Yeah, it's
Like-
a lot more plausible.
like,
He'll
it's
be
just-
New York City's mayor
Yeah.
and then launch
Well,
a
it's just
2024
It's a big
bid.
question of, didn't you just suspend your campaign 4 weeks ago? Like, I had some good writing performances. I mean, if he's literally winning states, I don't see why he wouldn't join the race again. I'm just saying, if the states he campaigned in every single day, he spent millions of dollars in, he wasn't able to win on the ballot, I think trying to write him in, if it happens, man, if he wins the Super Tuesday state, maybe he'll think about it. But it has happened in the past, by the way. People have won states and not ran and be like, look, I'm not running. I'm glad they wrote me in, but I'm not running. Smaller states, right, with like local people. But I don't know. I think writing it in, the bigger thing for that is it's letting people know that this Andrew Yang thing wasn't a fluke. Andrew Yang isn't going away. It's a real movement that's here to stay, and that's the best way to do it. Just make sure his name keeps appearing, I think.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Next.
Next super chat, Tyler Robinson. He says, agree, Cody. That was a disgrace to Yang. I think he means that Bloomberg video.
It was.
Okay. Next.
Next one. Hold on. I'm scrolling. Chat is going crazy.
I have it right here. And we have a $5 super chat from Jay Watt saying, I agree with Cody the Oracle. Carden, sometimes your analogies make no sense at all. Also applied for Bloomberg campaign. Best of luck, man. Even though I don't like Bloomberg, we were talking before, it's like I can't hate the hustle. You know, if you're making $6,000 a month for the guy, hey, knock yourself out, man. I personally wouldn't do it, but I'm not gonna clown anyone for making $6,000 off Michael Bloomberg. And then really quickly, Hyperballistic Drifter God, $2, said you're joking about Patchy, right? Patchy,
No, not joking.
Oh my God. And then to Peter Yang, $2, Andrew Yang and Johnny Kim 2024. Search Johnny. I'll look up what Johnny Kim is. And then Andrew Holman, do you have that one?
Hit it.
Yep. Oh, hold on. Scrolling up.
I got
there
it.
we go. I got it.
Okay.
Shout out to Problem Solver Politics for being such a reliable source of info and a catalyst for the Yang campaign. Vote Dem so we get polled in 2024.
What's he mean by so we get polled in 2024?
Because they don't.
Does he mean write in Andrew Yang or what's he saying?
If you vote in the Democratic primaries, they will put you into the role of likely Democratic primary voter. So again, and also you don't. I mean, I guess I don't know who else you would write in, but write yourself in, write in Harambe, write in technically whoever. I mean, I don't see a better meme write in than Yang, and by meme I just mean the fact that he's
like a protest vote.
Yeah, like suspended the campaign, not running, but still vote for him anyway. Again, think of a better person. Like Martin Short, I guess. Think the kids would be interested in writing in Martin Short. Martin Short on their ballots.
Carden T in the chat says, "I am very much a male."
That's funny.
Yeah, I've never
prove it, dog. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh my God, what was that? Johnny Kim. I want to look up this Johnny Kim and see who this individual is. Not Johnny Craig. Is it the astronaut Johnny Kim? If it's an astronaut, Yang plus an astronaut would be a pretty cool combo.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick, dude. Like, I'm going to do my State of the Union PowerPoint presentation from the International Space Station.
But I want to make sure I have the right one. There could be multiple, Johnny Kims. But I mean, I can't think of... if I were to pick one to be my running mate, I'd pick the astronaut one, right? Like, that's definitely the guy I want running with me. I would say Yang's got to be mayor or something for a couple of years then, though. You can't have two people that just are, like, peripheral to... You know what I mean? Like you need one person to be like the guy. So let me know in chat if this is the wrong individual. He's followed by a bunch of people that I know that follow Andrew Yang. So perhaps this is the individual. Very cool. Hey, I'm down for astronauts for Yang. You know what I mean? We get them together. And again, please let me know if this is the right or wrong guy. But he seems like he's pretty committed to space stuff too. Always good to see, right?
Rock on.
So I'm passionate about their work.
Okay, next super chat from Gilly Squeeze again. He says, how do you apply to Bloomberg campaign? Link it.
Oh, no. You just don't. Honestly, I don't know. You have to Google it.
Cody really can't stand Michael Bloomberg. So I think that's like asking.
But no, honestly, I don't know. But if you Google it, I guarantee you he will have multiple things. Because he did. I'm not even kidding you. I showed an article earlier. I'll see if I can pull it up again for you guys. People are having issues staffing campaigns because Michael Bloomberg is hiring everyone.
Oh, he's gentrifying politics, like that first video we made.
Beyond gentrifying, like he just owns it all. Like it's like if you're playing Monopoly and somebody else already bought up all the properties and you get to come in later. It's like, well, what do I do? It's like, oh no, roll the dice, dude. see where you land. But look, as Mike Bloomberg is hiring so many operatives, local and state campaigns are starving for help. Sorry.
That's crazy.
I don't
right
like
there.
the narrative ones. It's hard for
But
me
he
to
said,
go.
no, up in here, he said just within 3 weeks. This is the article we read in the article up there. See, just within 3 weeks until the election, however, he was back with a new status update. I'm taking my talents to Madison, Wisconsin. I mean, these are talking about, guys, not only is he having success in the individual states, but he's
stealing people.
Yeah, he's successfully able to vacuum them up from other areas. And what is Madison, Wisconsin? One of the most desirable swing states.
Yeah, he was
okay.
Working, he was working for the current senator, Chris Murphy.
Yeah, when I helped tax fighter Troy here fight, try and get the nomination from Steve Knight, the guy that ended up losing to Katie Hill. That the guys that are running the Michigan campaign, and then the same firm I believe is doing the Wisconsin campaign. I mean, they got scooped up right out of college just to be able to go do this. And now within, less than 3 election cycles, they're the head honchos there because they did such an effective job. Like these people, really, it's like professional athletes. There really is just like a select amount of competent people that can play at that level. And the sports teams are like the individual campaigns fighting for them. And so not only is it already a hard problem because you have so many candidates already. I mean, there was already 20 people on the field, and all these people had enough money for a 6-figure campaign manager. All these people, plenty of these people had millions. Okay. And so they're already able to staff up. So it was already a very thinned out playing field before Bloomberg comes in and just drops the atomic money bomb. You know what I'm saying? On everybody. So anyway, we got some more super chats we got to hit.
Josh Ring says, Jiminy Glick 2020 guys, LOL. I don't know what that means.
Cody, what's that mean? Decipher it for the Boomer King. Jiminy Glick. What's that?
Oh my God, Jiminy Glick. Jiminy Glick is...
Is that a meme? Are you
no.
to educate me in something
Jiminy
cool
Glick
and hip?
is a character. I'm trying to remember what the character's from. I know that name for sure. He's a fictional character played by Martin Short in the TV series Primetime Glick. Thank you very much. Martin Short character. That's who it is.
I've never heard of that. Anyway, okay.
That's what happens when you drop Martin Short references. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Martin Short. By the way, great comedian Martin Short. I think he gets slept on a little bit too much in the modern era, but Three Amigos, great film.
Yeah. Ooh, true. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh, I liked how your voice got like that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, huh?
Wow. Okay, next one. Fred Chung. Can you sell shirts that say "Go Kick Rocks Bloom"?
Would love
From
to.
Bloomberg?
We should. Speaking of, hold on, I want to show you guys something. I'll shout out who it was. If any of you guys recognize, I had this tweet. Somebody tweeted this out, and I loved it. So I'm just gonna put that. I will say ahead of time there is some foul language, but I thought this was pretty funny.
Hit it.
Somebody posted this on Twitter. I thought it was pretty funny.
Hit it.
I did.
There we go.
And this was sent to Tom Steyer in DM. Shout outs to that guy. Let me fix it. Oh no. There we go. This is it. Leo Lamb Dalfo, whoever that is. Thank you for that.
All right, rock on. Social Justice Sundays, Facebook.com, #watch.
No, look.
I hope you smack that. That SOB Bloomberg.
I love his response. Got it.
Got it.
Take care. Yeah, I like Tom Steyer.
Is that legit Tom Steyer?
Honestly no idea.
Dude, if there's anybody that's got to be super pissed at Tom Steyer right now,
I doubt
more than you, somebody that's super pissed at Bloomberg, more than you, it's got to be Tom Steyer. Because he was already in the billionaire lane and was playing by the rules, dropping $7 to 1 in donations in order to hit that donor threshold. And for half a year, he was dumping money into a framework that required him to dump money, and then they just changed the rules for Bloomberg. I mean, imagine how frustrating that is for Tom Steyer. I mean, that is frustrating.
I don't know. I think Bloomberg's a weird enigma. Everyone's upset, but I haven't seen this video yet, but I think this is the event tonight with Andrew Yang, where he was asked by, I believe that would be the comedian's name, blanking on his name. I don't know if it's actually him or someone else, but let's listen to this and see what happened. Apparently, this is Yang's response to running in 2024.
What crowd you bring about, The Yang Gang, no joke. You guys bring it. So my first question to you, Andrew, is from appearance, it seems like you have more fun than any other candidate. Is it as fun as it looks, or has this been grueling?
Oh, I guess not. I gotta start watching videos before I play them. I'm sorry, guys. But if anyone has some videos, I'm talking from there about running again in 2024. I honestly think I would love to see Yang run. The thing that's really nice about Mayor of New York, if I understand it right, he'd be Mayor of New York from 2021 to 2023.
Okay.
Am I right? 2-year term? Am I right
I don't
about that?
know. I'll Google this really fast. How long are? I know they're off season, and they're in odd number years.
So I mean, I think it's. I could be wrong, but I think it's every 2 years.
I think it's 4 though.
Because 4 would be a killer. Because then he couldn't run in 2024. If he could find some 2-year office, but there,
Yeah, here we are. According to current law, the mayor is limited to 2 consecutive 4-year terms in office.
Like a president. Oh my
but
God.
may run again after a 4-year break.
New York City is the worst. They look at
Yeah.
the mayor.
Well,
of New
it's
York
just
City
like
is
our
basically
governors.
the president of America. I love it.
But it's just like our governors. I think our governors are restricted to 2 4-year terms. However, if they drop off a 4-year term, then they can run again. That's why Governor Moonbeam, Jerry Brown, who was our governor in the 70s, was able to run again as well. So that's actually a pretty common term limited rule right there. So anyway, we got some other super chats. Hit it.
From Elected News, State of the Union 2025, Yang PowerPoint on the moon. Love PSP.
Yeah, rock on.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Next one, Yoshi Kim, just a super chat. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
We'll be able to eat some protein this month. Thank you for that.
We get to eat meat this month.
Okay, crap. I just scrolled all the way down. Hold on.
We have a $10 super chat from MP. So Bloomberg could be better than Sanders, right? Sanders is just going to divide the party lines more. By the way, how in the hell are we planning on funding his $34 trillion M4A? Please don't say a wealth tax. Well, I think Bernie Sanders' actual plan, and again, no flame to Bernie. I think he's actually said this. His actual plan is, well, maybe we'll not be able to get something done, so we'll have to settle on an expanded public option, or maybe we'll have to compromise. His actual plan seems to be compromising so he doesn't have to spend $34 trillion. Which I agree with sounds smart, making some compromises somewhere to get it through. But that's what I've heard from him and a lot of his surrogates is we might have to make some compromises. We might not be able to do this.
Yeah, now Marianne H. had brought up a really good question, one of our first live streams about this. She said, how do you protect UBI from the money-grubbing hands of these politicians who will want to convert it and steal it and rape it for all of their personal pet projects and their crony capitalist payouts, right? And this is where JFB brings up a good question. Could we maybe organize / fund or build a Yang Gang network like Rising or Justice Democrats? The Justice Democrats are the whole reason why we have AOC and a lot of these other candidates and so on and so forth. Like, organizing works.
It's also the reason why a lot of those phony, awful, crony establishment stooge types ran out of office because they targeted them and said no one likes these people. We can beat
you
them.
can dog on AOC all day, but she got rid of one of the most corrupt Democrats.
He was going to be Speaker of the House after
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi. They were talking about that, and then he loses in a primary.
Yeah, so she did us all a favor getting rid of one of the most corrupt Democrats. Okay.
Ew. AOC does not do any favors.
Okay.
No.
She's my second choice, babe. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway,
Next super chat.
I think it would be really interesting to see, just like there were the Justice Democrats, see if maybe a coalition couldn't form a super PAC, something that, unlike the Justice Democrats trying to put bad people in places and positions of power, they could put good people that like good ideas, because obviously the difference between bad people and good people is whether or not they agree with me politically, Cody. But I think it would be interesting, and I would definitely entertain a UBI-centric organization that supported candidates who actually support the true idea of UBI. So that's an interesting question, JFB. Good super chat.
Okay, next one from Yoshi Kim. Yang said Trump is a symptom of a disease we needed to cure. The DNC is the disease that's turning into a cancer.
Oh, I love this man.
Yeah. Writing in Yang for the nominee as a statement, not sure about the generals.
Oh, the right-wing SJW blood is flowing, coursing through my veins as I love this comment, Cody. What do you think, Cody?
Let's see. Sorry, so I want to make sure I pulled up again so I got it right. Yang, what do you mean? Yeah, I agree. I agree with Andrew Yang, where he's saying that Donald Trump did notice ideas and he disagrees with the solutions to them. I agree. It's where Andrew Yang is.
Okay, cool.
As far as writing in, I think writing in Yang is a good way to send the message, because people obviously look at what the write-in numbers are. If they notice Andrew Yang keeps getting write-ins, now, I do agree. The motivation to get up, drive down to the voting booth, and vote and write in Andrew Yang to make a statement is not the same as checking next to his name to win the election, right? So there's going to be less people, but still, if you're going to show up just to write in, I literally can't. Like, unless you want to write in Martin Short, I can't think of a better name to write in the name.
Yeah.
Or Jiminy Glick.
Yeah, or
Okay.
Jiminy Glick.
Next one from JFB. Could we maybe organize fund to
We
build-
just did that one.
Oh, you did that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ian Sharp.
Ian Sharp, did you see where Bloomberg had a heckler run up on stage yesterday? That was in my city, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah, an old woman, right? It was like an elderly. I guess elderly sounds meaner than old, doesn't it? Anyway.
Yeah, actually, it kind of does at this point.
A woman of age took the stage and
Ooh, that's even worse.
took the stage and started screaming. What was it? This is not a this is not an oligarchy or something, or this is an oligarchy, something like that. And had to be escorted off the stage. Hey, people are gonna realize this Bloomberg guy is just. I don't know if bad news.
Did he have to
is
get
the
off his
word.
stool?
He wasn't. He wasn't there yet.
Oh, okay.
They're like getting ready, and well, it's funny. There's no security. I just saw some guy in a blazer who was obviously like some kind of event staff who wasn't security, like desperately, like, oh my god. I'll see if I can find it. It's pretty funny.
Okay, and Cody, can you read the next super chat?
Oh, yes.
It's hey, Ducky Hodges. Hola, los tangos que apoyar flex. Hashtag gangbang. How was that? Shout out to Ducky Hodges, by the way.
Yeah. What do you think that says, dog? You studied French. It's a romantic language. You can probably get that.
Hey. Well, it's not even that. It's like these are words I see. Like people like when they do use Spanish words in English things, like for song title stuff,
Ooh, I
they
have an
use
idea.
like Los Tango. Isn't K like what?
Is it?
Hey, what's up, dudes?
Hey,
Like that?
do you guys work out?
No, it's not. Hey, do you guys work out?
Like,
What's
hey,
your
like,
guess?
Hey, what's up, guys? Something like that.
Hola is hello.
Well, tango is have, right? Tanar?
Yes. Tener.
So, do you have... I don't know what apoyar
So the direct
is.
object is los, and it goes before the verb in Spanish. So tener que means have to. Apoyar or apoyar, as we say in Spanish, means to support. So he says, hola, los tengo que apoyar, which means, hello, my friends, I must support you.
I was pretty close then.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
I got the first half. I just missed the
Ducky
second half.
Hodges, good job, brother.
Hey,
good
how about
job.
this? I got a question for you, Carden.
What up?
Who is Devlin Duck Hodges?
I don't know who. Who's Ducky Hodges? Did we meet him?
No, maybe you did. No, he is I think he was the third string quarterback for the Steelers this year, and then due to injuries, he was forced into a starting role for a couple weeks. Played all right. Played,
Dude, rock on.
He played like good for a third string quarterback. But anyway, shout out to Ducky Hodges. Now MP.
Wait, he's like a legit NFL quarterback?
I don't know if it's actually him, but that's,
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that is if it is the Ducky Hodges, shout out, man. Appreciate it for watching, but I think it's just a fan account.
Okay, cool.
And then elected news show super chat. Yang is VP with who? Outlasted Harris, Booker, etc. The weird thing is originally I kind of thought it would be Biden, but he's like done. I would be deeply conflicted.
It's weird,
if it was
yeah.
Bloomberg, deeply conflicted if Bloomberg did tap him, but
I would be
think
less
Yang
conflicted.
is a good VP choice.
I would be less conflicted. Because at that point, I'm like, hey, grifter's going to grift, play is going to play, oligarch's going to oligarch. You know what I'm saying? Oligarch's going to purchase.
I don't get
and
what
at that
you mean
point,
by that. You keep
like,
saying
okay,
it.
I'll
I
tell you
don't
this.
get what it
I'll tell you
means.
exactly what it means. Okay. You know how sometimes it's got to get worse before it gets better? I had a buddy whose kid was so involved in drugs and problems and crime and was always getting bailed out that finally one day when the
Joe
cops
Biden?
called him, yeah, it was Hunter Biden. Me and Hunter, man, we used to get off the hook all the time. It was crazy, dude, like back in the 90s. But anyway, I had a friend whose son kept on getting in trouble where finally he realized, dude, I got to tough love this kid. And the next time the cops called, he said, no, I'm not coming to pick you up. I'm not paying your bail. You're going to sit there and know what it's like to stay in jail over a 3-day weekend. And you're going to miss your cruise. You're going to miss your senior trip. And you're going to all of a sudden, and he was going to hope that it scared him straight because it had to get worse.
Not the senior
before,
trip. Oh,
yeah,
no.
it had to get worse before it could get better because a man won't look up until he has touched bottom. Okay. Our society needs to touch bottom and realize that oligarchs are purchasing our elections. If Bloomberg wins, we will literally be able to prove that an oligarch just purchased an election.
Hold on.
He came in late.
Literally be able to prove that he purchased it. I don't think we'll be able to do that.
Okay. The optics of it will be so bad that it will be sounded worldwide that the U.S. election was just purchased by the 7th most wealthy man in the world. And that if you have billions of dollars, you can buy memers. You can buy all the best
But to
campaign
win
managers.
an election, you need tens of millions of people to vote for you.
Okay, that's why I'm saying
So I'm saying
if
is
he wins,
maybe you could buy your way in and you could kind of buy some cred. You ultimately have to, for months, withstand nonstop media scrutiny and actually win over
I get
hearts
that.
and
That's
minds.
why I'm qualifying
He hasn't done
this.
anything yet.
I'm not saying when
He's
he
just
wins.
spent money.
I'm not saying when he wins. I said if he wins, it will project an image that the U.S. elections are purchasable. And we will have hit bottom.
Depending on how he wins.
Yeah, depending on how he wins. And at that point, we will actually hit bottom before the American people look up and realize, oh, I guess we don't want oligarchs buying our election.
What if that isn't bottom? I will I will never buy into the America needs to be worse camp. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think it needs to be, nor do I want it to.
Worse camp? What are you saying? You love that he's going to make things worse. I'm not a fan of that.
No, I'm saying I don't love that he will make things worse. I recognize that unfortunately human beings sometimes need to hit bottom before they look up. And a silver lining of the storm clouds of a Bloomberg presidency would be hopefully enough people hit political bottom that they realized, oh, we got to look up. So anyway, we got to burn through these super chats.
How does that happen if
we only have like 11 minutes left?
If the majority of people elect Michael Bloomberg president, how is through the act of the majority of Americans electing him president, there'll be some great revelation that we shouldn't have done this? Like, what? That doesn't make any sense, dude.
Okay, I'm getting scared, so I'm going to read the super chats. Okay, MP. If Sanders win, we might get AOC 2024. Picture that. I don't want to picture that.
She'd be old enough. I don't think she's a presidential candidate, though.
No.
She doesn't have president. I think, honestly, she could run the House for 30 years if she wants. She could be Speaker of the House like Nancy Pelosi 2 or 3 times if she wants. And I don't know if presidents, which she has labeled for the end of her career, but I think she could run the House, dominant, maybe a really big-time senator. Just personality in a region.
Yeah.
You dominate the elections, and then you have a personality. You're able to dominate media. I think that, I don't know. I honestly think she'd be, it's kind of like the same thing with Cory Booker running for president. He's way too likable, shaking people's hands and being out in the street with people to be locked away in the White House. Even in Senate, he's kind of locked away. I think he needs to be a mayor or a governor and actually be out there shaking hands more. But anyway, it just, an aside, but.
Dude, AOC's hot, man. She just needs to be like an ambassador.
Not.
Yeah, you guys are missing. I think she's gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, next one is Paul Luna. Heard of a possibility that if Trump wins again, it might be the end of the Democratic Party as we know. It's just a rumor. Thoughts?
Well, yes. Well, what happened is we're currently viewing the end of a certain era of the Democratic Party, the Hillary Clinton era. The Hillary Clinton era was like Obama.
Yeah, the dynasty of the Clintons is over.
It lasts. Well, the problem is there's this natural shake. I said the same thing. It's the same thing that happens. Same thing that happens when what was it? Peyton Manning left the Colts. When it's gonna happen when Tom Brady leaves the Patriots. When you have that person who, for a long period of time, kind of takes care of things, makes some of the problems go away because they know. And then that person leaves, the power vacuum leads to a bunch of nonsense. The ability vacuum, having people capable of running things, leaves. And yeah, if they lose again, it will finally be the death of these kind of stooges that got put in place to do Hillary's bidding. They're still in power. They lose again. Hopefully that will be the catalyst to get the old Hillary stooges out of power. Remember, there's kind of like things got mixed up here because the actual corrupt, but capable and able politicians, they got ran out of the DNC for stealing the election from Bernie. So the kind of stooges who didn't know anything and just did as they were told, they're left. So yeah, I think that era will officially end if they do lose again, which is for the best for the party.
Okay, we've got 10 super chats to catch up on.
Okay, Andy Barrientos. Okay, anyway, since Yang has a diverse ideological following, who gets hurt the most with a Yang third-party run, Trump or the Democratic nominee?
Well, first off, 50% of his, I would say the Democrats slightly more than the Republicans. He'd peel off, 15% of our followings. It'd be similar to whether people like to admit it or not. Ross Perot did cause George H.W. Bush's election. He played a spoiler role, but by a much smaller margin than people would like to realize. Next one.
Elected news. Should Yang Gang vote Biden, fourth industrial revolution?
Now, Biden, I honestly think Biden...
He won't be an option in a week,
I think he was told, we need you to run right now by when I say the we, I think the kind of establishment, the party, the people that are the Democrats that want to hold on to power, they said, we need you to run till we can figure out who's going to be our ace in the hole. We're not going to ask you to go all the way. I think he's already gone farther than he was originally told he would have to. Like, he's doing stuff like, I remember the day of the New Hampshire primary, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go to South Carolina. I'm not even going to hang out here. Like, I think he's done, and I think Bloomberg is that guy where he's just waiting. Super Tuesday, I'm going to be able to just give my resignation and let Bloomberg walk away with this. So that's what I think's happening with Biden. I think he's just a placeholder. Like, he feels like a placeholder. He never actually really, in earnest, felt like he was really trying to win. It felt like more like he was trying to hold off Bernie Sanders for the anti-Bernie crowd long enough for them to find a candidate, really.
Word.
Okay, Brent Fitzgerald.
Brent?
Mindful Skeptics podcast channel is streaming Yang live in Vegas.
Oh, cool. It sucks we weren't able to get there. Very cool.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Next one.
Jay Watt. If Bernie knows that he's going to have to compromise, Yang would be ideal VP to help with negotiations.
See, I've thought about that, but the thing is, the Burners wouldn't. I view that match as being kind of like a little bit of a progressive powerhouse. Even though Andrew Yang is like 50% progressive, 50% like very conservative in his policies. But those are the two most enthusiastic bases. But I'll tell you right now, I view Bernie Sanders' willingness and the Bernie Bros' willingness to adopt Yang as a bigger impediment to that union than Andrew Yang's willingness or the Yang gangs.
Yeah, but remember, Andrew Yang literally campaigned on Bernie Sanders' ideas are wrong. Like, yeah, I would imagine campaigning on your ideas are wrong and won't work is
people have gotten over worse and joined together.
I mean, like, dude, it's literally fundamentally your biggest policies are dumb, but I don't think they'll work. Yeah. That's kind of a hard bridge to cross, man. It isn't, okay, fine, you want a wealth tax at this, I want a wealth tax at that. It's, no, wealth taxes don't work because people don't pay them versus this is my wealth tax. It's, I think UBI is good and we have to kind of rethink how the minimum wage is imposed versus mandatory minimum wage, not mandatory, but optional government jobs, right? Like, it's kind of like a big ideological gap there. So it's funny that them both being kind of like populist style candidates. So they want to, they definitely are not the elitist. I get tired of running through the same words, but you know what I'm talking about. Those kind of people. They're not one of them. They're trying to get a coalition of actual regular people and help them. And they have just such ideologically different ways of getting there. And like I said, I look at it the same way as the fact that I could see why one person could be looking at Bernie and Trump. I couldn't see why Bernie and Trump would team up, but I could see why one person would be looking at both candidates because they do offer same things. Similar to that, I could see why an individual voter might be looking at Yang and Bernie. I can't see why Yang and Bernie would put those differences aside to join up, if that makes sense.
So look, I sent you a graphic for this next super chat that you're going to have to put up.
Okay, for James Young.
Yep.
James Young, do you think that we will have a repeat of the McGovern versus Nixon election if Sanders is the nominee?
Are you familiar with the McGovern versus Nixon election?
That was the one where Nixon basically didn't McGovern concede immediately because he was getting owned so hard. You sent me a picture for ants, so it's going to be in pretty low resolution by the time any of you guys can read it.
Crap, sorry. Well, either way, the idea comes across. It's actually considered one of, I think, the worst electoral defeat.
Like, he won his home state, and that was it.
No, he didn't. I don't even think it was his home state.
Oh, that's funny. He just won another state.
I think it was actually a different state. But check. If he is from Massachusetts, that's fine. But he only won the state of Massachusetts. And he's the one that's actually considered the godfather of leftism in the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party used to be a whole lot more like the Republican Party. But he drove it so far left that he is actually being cited, and his electoral defeat is being cited as the biggest reason why we need the Amy Klobuchars, the Democrats say, and the reason why James Carville is coming out against Bernie Sanders, and the reason why Barack Obama is coming out against Bernie Sanders. All of the establishment Democrats that are boomers and old enough to remember the Nixon versus McGovern election know that if you go too far left, culturally America rejects it, and they reject it wholesale. Nixon, Richard motherfreaking Nixon, all right, got 500 plus electoral votes. I think Boston only has like 15 or 16 electoral votes. It was like 5-0 something to 16. I mean, it was a brutal defeat. Okay. So I think it is possible to have a repeat of the McGovern versus Nixon election. And that's an indictment of the primaries. No, because in the primaries, to win the primaries, you have to say stupid stuff like America is built on the backbone of black, transgender, young people. I
still think Bernie Sanders would carry the very deeply blue states. I think there's a bigger divide now than 72. Like, there are states that are like
You're right. It may not be as bad as McGovern.
Deep blue states. I can't imagine.
It would be a brutal electoral landslide.
I can't imagine California, New York, especially California and New York, voting for Donald Trump instead of Bernie
Yeah, you're right.
Sanders.
But California
I really
with its
can't
22
picture that.
electoral votes.
Could you picture Washington
and New York
State?
with its 30 or
Well,
whatever.
Washington State. But I'm just
It
saying,
would be a 50 to 400 some odd
But
landslide.
it also depends on a couple of things. If Bernie really, remember, people don't talk about this a lot, but Hillary, whether you want to say she was sick or wasn't sick, whatever it was, her ability to finish strong wasn't there. If Bernie runs a crazy good campaign, it might be close. It's something he loses because ultimately more people I'd rather not change things than really change things. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they say when you go to the grocery store, if you look and there's like 15 different bags of chips, odds are you just won't pick one and you just grab basic and walk away because it's like you get overwhelmed. Like people are like, holy cow, we're changing how much? I don't know. I'd rather just not have things change. It's just, it's one of the reasons why the revolution rarely ever happens. Most people are like, I mean, but I know what this is. I have it now. I don't know what that is. That's what holds Bernie back more than anything. Trying to go to your average person and say, I want to really radically change things. A lot of people say, I don't. The thing is, when you're speaking to activists and radicals, they do. When you're speaking to a guy who's a barber or a girl who works at like a bakery, they're like, I don't know. Like, I would definitely like some things change, but I don't need like the system upended. I mean, if you're not like constantly reading about into politics, reading all the stuff, reading like the philosophies and the this and the that, if you're just a regular person living your life, you don't think about stuff that way, and it does freak you out.
Okay, we got to catch up on super
Next
chats.
super chat, Mark Payne. Cody, this is for you. Bloomberg is going to win the Democratic nomination.
I think he has a chance, yeah.
Yeah. Next super
Okay.
chat.
Victor Perret. Oh, dang it. It always does that.
Yeah.
When a new one goes down, it goes all the way down to the bottom. Okay,
All right.
hold on. Okay, Victor Perez. Bloomberg can't buy the election. He is buying attention. You also can't buy votes. Let's not kid ourselves.
Dude, confident man. I like that super chat. I agree that just because he can purchase all the time and the campaign managers and everything, as Cody said, there's a big step between electoral success and financial success. But I'm just saying it's a bad omen that within a week he skyrockets to third place in the polls.
Well, but also I think he hasn't had to really. He has just been kind of this guy running commercials who hasn't had to. Once people talk about Bloomberg, what he's about, and really shine a light on him, I think we'll see that change.
Next super
Next
chat.
one from Devlin. 2018 Alabama State Duck Calling Championship. I just saw on my Snapchat discover that Mike Bloomberg is recommended to me. Nice Spanish, Cody.
Thank you.
All right, rock on. Thanks, Devlin.
Okay.
And we have a $2 super chat from Art Science Wonder saying Tulsi/Hawaii passed a bill in support of UBI. I have for stuff like that. I want to look more into it. And then $2 from Azrael said Code is Emarosa fan. Could PSP have guests?
No, we do not allow guests.
We have guests all the time. Yeah.
Actually, I haven't in a while, but
Only our ideas are sacrosanct in the walls of this cathedral.
And then Ron Henderson, $2. That child debunking wealth tax was rad. And the wealth tax is a weird thing for these candidates that want to. It's a weird hill to die on because, like, I wouldn't say, oh, rich people just don't have to pay it. Is like the rich people make the rules. They're just gonna like someone said that Michael Bloomberg's imposing his own wealth tax, but like he pays billions of dollars less than under other people's, and it's like like they don't. They make the rules. If they don't like them, they leave. They go elsewhere. They go to Ireland, right? Like.
Yep, it's true. We actually, when you want to write a complaint letter or something like that, you actually have to send it internationally to Ireland now. You send it to the city in Ireland. It's actually pretty funny.
Ireland gave tax breaks to companies to set up their queue, right? And they did.
Well, but dude, they have a 14% corporate tax. That's it. No, sorry, 10% corporate tax. But ours has gotten so high, it's like 14. In some states, you're paying nearly 20. I mean, it's absurd. You save 10%, and if you're a $1 million company, you're saying that just by simply opening up a shop in Dublin with one person in there as a secretary and calling that your worldwide headquarters, where you receive like the final chain of command to do your accounting, that by putting like 3 accountants in some, high rise in Dublin, that all of a sudden my $10 million company gets to keep an extra $1 million. Okay, sure, fine. I'm doing that. And it's the foolishness of thinking that high taxation on just the wealthy and corporations is going to work. And ultimately the reason why the founding fathers outlawed it, and it took a bunch of corrupt Democrats meeting at midnight the day before Christmas in the 20s in order to pass income tax, which was also unconstitutional. Right-wing SJW hot topic right there, baby.
We're all enthralled, man.
You're
I mean, I don't know. That's a weird way of.
You got to read you have to read The Beast of Jekyll Island, and you understand where the Fed and where our income tax came from. So anyway, we got 2 more minutes left, guys. 2 more minutes left. You got any other super chats in your system? Make sure you get them out of your system right now. If you got any comments, make sure you get them into the chat super fast. While we're waiting here to wind down, I just want to remind you guys that you can join. Just like we had somebody join right now, and it's awesome. It's a great way to make sure you get the cool behind the scenes content that we give you.
And also, you get a badge.
Yeah, and you get a sick little badge here. That's like the number one thing Cody likes. See, I like the behind the scenes content, but you like the badges.
Anyone that's got a badge, comment right now and show people what they look like, and people will be like, I want one of those. You know where that comes from, though? That comes from I'm a longtime Twitch viewer, so to me, I'm like, I guess a sub. Like, I don't know. That's just where it comes from.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, also make sure that you follow us on PSP Radio 1 on Twitter. Okay, Cody is like the madman on Twitter, posting probably 7 or 8 times a day, all the coolest and latest great happenings.
7 or 8 whole times, dude. You think I post 8 whole tweets?
My
I will do like 20,
announcements on my Twitter
20
machine.
to 100 sometimes if it's a good day.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Maybe 100 on that. I'm not on Problem Solve Politics, some other accounts, but
yeah.
Twitter's awesome. I am a Twitter supporter.
Michael Jones says, dropping that 20s knowledge like a bomb. That's right, baby. That's right. You got to read it, Michael Jones. I know what I'm talking about. So here we got a cool. That's what Thales Minato.
Yeah.
Showing us
your name's green too.
Yeah, your name's green. It's actually pretty sick. Nate Johnson, rock on. And you get my cool little PSP King Kong holding the microphone right there. I made that badge. I'm very proud of that badge. So anyway, one last super chat from Nel Nieves. What if Yang suspended the campaign to troll the corporate media? Dude can come back now that they're all talking great about him. Yeah, now that all these trivia videos have been made and everybody's talking about how awesome he is, it'll be like, psych!
Like I said,
know?
It's the big question of like, I'm running again. Then everyone would be like, well, why did you drop out? Like, it was a trick, you see. It was to get attention. They'd be like, well, tell you what, look up the movie called Pauly Shore's Not Dead. It's an entire movie about that. Pauly Shore fakes his death because no one cares about him anymore. And people found out he fakes it, and everyone hates him. For very briefly, everyone's like, oh my God, Pauly Shore, I loved him, he was great. Then he comes back from the dead, like, oh, you faked it? You're the worst. I think if he said that it was a stunt to suspend my campaign to like garner people would be like, everyone writing those nice things about him would be trashing him. So once you've announced you've suspended, man, it's not quite like Brett Favre unretiring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you're Brett Favre, you're one of the greatest to ever live. He's going to come back and run the table. Like,
yeah,
it's tough, man. I would say if Yang really wanted to stay in the race, he probably should have just stayed in the race. Right?
Yeah. So hit the last super chat, Bird.
Tyler Robinson, tell me more about the membership.
Cody.
There should be a little join button under the thing. You click join and gives you the badges for anytime you comment, as well as little emotes. I'll post the emotes. A lot of people don't use them on YouTube yet, but they are there. We're going to add some more over time too. So you get those, and then we also do we actually have a members-only stream coming up, I think, next week. We're going to do just brief streams. Members-only, obviously, just more intimate, doing more direct Q&A stuff about where you want to do, and then we post various videos throughout the week of just goofy stuff we end up doing behind the scenes back here. Like I said, it's an easy way to kind of just support the show, and we're hoping to add more badges, more emotes, more badges, more fun stuff to add just to kind of keep it fun. Like, for the most part, we don't put. I don't want you guys to think we're hiding a bunch of content back there. For the most part, it's a way to once a month interact with us in a stream, get some little just kind of goofy behind the scenes clips, and then also have some special subscriber stuff next to your name. We hope to over time expand it and have more available, but for right now, I want to make sure that's how we have it set up.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm actually the one that makes a lot of the behind the scenes videos, and it's pretty fun. You kind of get a little tour of the studio, I think is the last one that we did. And you also get to see like just commentary on just different kind of pranks and crazy cool stuff that we did. We did the broom thing, 2 days ago, right? That is actually just a physical phenomenon that happens every day, but for some reason became like a big thing on the internet. So anyway, just goofy stuff like that.
It's one of those things where like no one ever tries to stand certain brands of like a certain broom with like it looks weird visually, but when you do it, you can just feel like, oh yeah, all the bristles work together to support each other, and it doesn't fall over.
And it's like a church Sunday school lesson that together we all can do it. It's also a fascist symbol.
Okay, last super chat.
Last super chat
from Nevin Becker. Can you talk more about what his baby bonds plan was and contrast it to Yang's freedom dividend? I never gave Booker a fair chance, to be honest.
I'm trying to remember baby bonds thing. It basically was. I think
we're going into the vault of memories here.
That was a very simple question.
From what I remember, correct me if I'm wrong. From what I remember, essentially how the way it worked was It was kind of similar. Was it Kamala Harris who put it out? Something, the idea. Basically, it'd be kind of like a negative tax credit for parents for 18 years while they're raising the child. I believe something like that with the numbers. I'll have to look more into to get all the I'll see if we can do more talk about. But more or less, it was that. It's very similar, actually. I think Mitt Romney put something like that forward in Utah, where they're going to do something like that, where you have a kind of negative tax credit for a parents moving forward. So,
okay, I got the last comment right here. Stephen Yeat says, at Problem Solver Politics, can you guys do a video on the propositions and initiatives that would be on the California ballot? I think it would be super informative and get a bunch of shares. Oh, do you happen to mean this thing that you saw in the background of the video? Yes, I have been cruising over the LA County official sample ballot, okay, with the presidential primary election of March 3rd, 2020 here. You don't want to go through this, bro, because first off, not only does it have a bunch of palm trees, which are not native to California, and the environmentalists should be very, very angry that a bunch of non-native species are on the Californian ballot, but it also has silly, stupid stuff in here, such as, for example, the statement of Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, who's running our district.
Nothing to do with propositions.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with anything. But.
You know, he spent his entire whole career fighting corruption. Now he's running for Congress so he can do that in D.C. He's not even from here. Carpetbagger. And he founded the Young Turks and his labor movement in 2002 is now recognized as the most online progressive whatever. It's a self-promotion commercial, which is fine. But you get all these other silly things in here. Like the California ballot is an absolute mess because we basically have single party rule and some people literally just run in like weird vanity projects. We literally had a guy in the last sample ballot that had a Fu Manchu that said, why not run for president as his statement? Do you remember that one, Cody? When me and Mark Murphy went over the sample ballot, there was literally a guy with his picture and on his statement of why I'm running, he said, why not? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, California is a wild place, an absolute textbook failure of single party rule. I don't know how interesting you think that would be.
Just vote no on propositions and you're safe.
Yeah, just
right?
vote no on
no.
propositions. Yeah, generally that's unfortunately the only thing left to do. So anyway, this has been great, guys. Please keep the conversation alive in Discord. Please keep the conversation alive in the chat. We'll hang out for a little bit even after we are off screen. This has been awesome. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Problem Solver Politics on Instagram. If you can join the channel, make sure you join the channel. It's a cheap way to support all of our work and make sure that we keep these videos coming. This is Problem Solver Politics. We will see you guys in the next video.